Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Dr. Alessandro. Please like and subscribe. In this video, we're going to be discussing, kind of entering a partnership. So this is a situation where, a certain interested dentist may be trying to enter a practice, what was once a solo practice that will become a partnership, or into a group practice. So there are lots of different ways, even possibly infinite ways to do this. Because it all depends on how people want to arrange or structure contracts and ownership assignment, percentage of ownership, and things along those lines. So there are really a myriad of ways of doing this. But one that maybe is much more common than the others is when a solo practitioner is looking to, sell a practice, or at least maybe sell a part of it, but stay on for a while and then ultimately sell the rest of it off and retire. So that becomes ideally a 50-50 partnership. That is, the person who's entering will purchase 50% of the practice from the owner, and then at a later date will purchase the rest of it, and the former owner will either stay on as an associate for an agreed upon set period of time, or will just retire outright once the second half is purchased. Again, lots of different ways to do it, lots of ways it could go. But what I recommend, if somebody is doing just this last scenario, that is entering a practice where the owner is currently looking to sell maybe half and then the other half at a later date and retire, or stay on for a bit and retire, that the structure be arranged that it is a 50-50 partnership, not a 51 to 49% partnership, okay? Because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It leaves the purchaser, if they're only getting 49%, with zero power, because the person with 51 will make all of the controlling decisions. Or, now be careful for this, because I'm familiar with a situation where there was an attempt made at a 50-50 partnership where, yes, it was 50-50. However, another individual or entity became the manager of the practice. That is, the person that would be making decisions or adding that extra weight to the partnership was somebody that was familiar with, or maybe even, who knows, related to in some way the owner. Thus really making it not a 50-50, but a 51-49, even though the contract stated that financially it would be 50-50. The actual managing agreement or operating agreement stated otherwise. So that was stricken from the operating agreement, thankfully. However, you need to be careful for that in the event that there is somebody else involved, and not just the owner, but maybe somebody who's related to the owner. So always be careful, always be cautious. Ideally, like I said, the best situation is a 50-50, because that way, everything is split down the middle and tends to be a little bit more cooperative, rather than a 51-49 or anything that could become a 51-49 scenario, where basically the people with that 1% advantage tend to steamroll the folks that don't have the 50%. And then, then it just basically kind of might end up being a period of time of resentment, because if the purchaser is not necessarily in agreement with the philosophies of the seller, or the greater partner in these cases, then it could really be headaches. It can cause headaches. So that said, 50-50 is ideal, and always structure it so that there's a set period of time. You give a number of years, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever you do with the contract, whatever you agree with, whatever the attorneys wrangle around and agree with. Ideally, keep it between the partners and keep attorneys as far out of it as possible, and agree upon something ahead of time to save time and attorney's fees. Let's face it, that can get expensive. So make sure there's a set time where then the seller will sell the rest of the practice and then agree to become an associate, and ultimately move on to greener pastures or greater pastures, or ride off into the sunset, however you want to term it. But yeah, make sure that there is a set term for that to happen. So All right, hopefully this was helpful for folks who are trying to buy into a practice, and that whatever dealings happen, they go as smoothly as possible, because I know it can be quite an interesting ordeal, especially if it doesn't go all that smoothly. So, all right, thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you're all staying well and healthy.